All right, boys and girls, it's not every day that I have both my dump trailers in one spot, so I decided to make a video about this. Everything you're going to want to know about dump trailers. These are Sure Tracs. I'm going to go over all the failure points, what Sure Trac should do better with these. This is my 2 of the 3 that I've owned. I've only owned 3 dump trailers total, going back, I think, 6, 7, 8 years now. I sold the first one before COVID because the resale value for them in my area was crazy. I got actually more than I paid for it new, and then COVID hit and you couldn't buy them, and then obviously I bought 2 more. This is everything I love and hate about dump trailers, the dump trailer business, debris removal, and the failure points of these trailers. Let's get into it. Let's go over specs of these trailers real quick so you guys kind of know what you're looking at here. This is a Gooseneck Sure Trac, of course. 16 foot length on this one right here. That one's a 14 foot. 16K, these are 8K axles, so it's a little heavier duty. 16K dump trailer plus the tongue weight, so you know, extra capacity. And then that one is the same basically, except for that it's a bumper pull and it's 16K as well, but it's only 14 foot. I do have the lower sides. I have the extra 12-inch on the side over here. Just gives me a little extra capacity. There's a little over 15, I think 15 cubic yards. I just advertise as a 15 cubic yard trailer, and that one's I think like 11 and a half cubic yard, maybe even 12. But just depends on, you know, with the small, you know, I charge pretty much the same for both of them depending on, you know, the circumstances. But I do, you know, that one can be a little bit less, the smaller one. What you guys should be looking for in a dump trailer. Okay, so between gooseneck and bumper pull, if it's just a debris trailer alone, you know, you can never overload these with just regular debris with like from the house or anything like that. It's just that stuff doesn't weigh enough to overload the axle. So you can go with a 7K axle trailer, even lower if you want to. But keep in mind, these trailers do weigh something. I wouldn't go less than 7K dual axles for a dumpster. And of course, I went with 8K just because it's just, you know, a little extra heavy duty, better leaf springs. And usually they're made, like we'll get this into a second, usually they're built a little heavier duty, and you can kind of see this with a little bit. But realistically, unless you're doing material like say 21 AA gravel, sand, you're really not going to overload these trailers unless you kind of move earth, stone, or concrete, which I highly recommend you don't, because it does tear up the trailers a little bit. But it's also another avenue approach to it. Debris, like even if you're taking off shingles and stuff like that, you can load this thing up with shingles, and yeah, you'll get past your 2 or 3 or 4 ton limit for you know, whatever you're dumping this thing. But maybe but even that with shingles, you know, they do weigh some extra, but it's still not what your trailer probably can be max capacity depending on your tow vehicle. I have a F450. I'll throw a picture or 2 in here when I had the F150 with the 14 foot 16K trailer, and it was sometimes when I had that thing loaded up pretty good, it was squatting pretty good for sure. But of course the F450 can hold, like, I've had this thing way overloaded. I'm not even gonna speak too much of it, but I had it way overloaded one time with some 21 AA, and besides, you know, feeling a little bit of weight behind the truck, it was fine. Like, and it dumped it, no problem whatsoever. Highly recommend you guys, when you're looking at dump trailers, both of mine, you can see telescopic hoists. So this is a telescopic hoist. It is lifting vertical. So if you think about, you know, if you're trying to lift something, like you're trying to endo a tire or something like that, you're going to get to one side and then lift straight up and try to, you know, lift it over and flip it over, right? Same thing you're doing with the telescopic hoist. They do have dual rams, and they do have scissor hoists as well. Those are horizontal, trying to go vertical, which obviously is not nearly as efficient. This thing has no problem dumping. I've, again, overloaded the trailer and it had no problem dumping. I did bend the frame a little bit, but of course I just attached it, used a come along, and we bent it back where it needed to be. No big deal. It is what it is. But you know, we had to get, we were done for the day, actually for the week, and the place was closing down, and we had to get that job done. That's basically it. Now, gooseneck versus bumper pull. If you're in the debris removal, go with the bumper pull because it's just easier, more convenient, especially if you have a tailgate camera. It's going to be super easy to hook up. I have the Gen Y hitch on this one. Great, awesome hitches, and it's obviously the pintle. I have the pintle as well. It's a little heavier duty, but I would say if you're going with multiple unhooks and hooks ups in a day, bumper pull is where it's at because it's just more convenient. Gooseneck, you're going to get a way better towing. So when this thing is super heavy, long haul, if I was like over the road trucker or anything like that, just doing hot shot, a gooseneck is absolutely the way to go. You know, the load, the tongue weight is right over the axle itself. You can't, a bumper pull can't compete with the towing for a gooseneck. And most everybody who actually does this for a living will tell you the exact same thing. Let's talk about what's broken on the trailers. I've had 3 Sure Tracs, and most of all the Sure Tracs that I've owned, again, these are all like 3 or 4 years old and older. So just keep in mind, I think they have a newer version of these trailers. You know, I can't speak to their existing, the new quality control, but I can let you know what these ones have problems with. Not game changers. I would still absolutely buy these trailers knowing what I know is going wrong. I know the failure points, so we can reinforce them, and boom, we've got great trailers, no problems whatsoever. But dump trailers are going to rust. I don't care what you, like, yeah, these are all, you know, powder coated everything. You guys can see, you know, we've got rust. Again, these are, you know, you unbolt these things. I actually broke the other one on this side over here, unbolted it, welded a new plate to it. You're good to go, but they do rust. And if it comes really bad, I'm just gonna buy another one, relatively inexpensive, slap another one on here, and we're good to go. And these are non-hydraulic. Just, you know, you just take the little wheel off and you crank them down. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but at the same time, it's not nearly as bad as having a hydraulic pump go out and you can't, you know, you can't detach. I do keep a 3-ton jack in my truck at all times in case I need to do something. First truck went by and it was super loud. I couldn't even hear myself talk. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, powder coated, you guys are gonna see, we've got some, you know, surface rust, nothing crazy, but it's gonna have, you know, you're gonna have to keep some upkeep on it. No big deal. That's perfectly okay. You want to keep your rides and your equipment looking good. I will say we do have some broken welds on these. You can see right, if I can see right there, we've got a broken weld on this one, which I'm not quite sure. Maybe the frame's flexing a little bit. I don't work these too hard because most of it is just debris from, you know, residential houses and everything. But I would like to not see this broken weld. These over here, you can see, these are the ramp carriers, and you can see, so there you go. The welds on these break on all my trailers. All of them snap right off because I think there's, you know, the ramps themselves weigh over 100 pounds a piece. And, you know, being on the back of the trailer, they're probably gonna bounce up and down all the time. And you guys can see, if I can zoom in, that weld broke too. So all these trailers that I've owned, the ramps, the welds break. That's just, I don't know if it's per the course or what, but, and also you guys can see right there, we've got another box end steel, which it broke off. And that was obviously, that's broken off on all my trailers. I think it's just the frame flexing with the weight of the trailer, but all of them, you can see right there, all of them have snapped off. So we'll get that fixed. No big deal. That's just, you know, I guess that's just a Sure Trac thing. You got your surface rust here. It is what it is. I mean, we can grind it off, but I mean, we live in Michigan, so it's the Rust Belt, and these trailers probably have maybe, I'd say maybe 1,000 miles on them from driving back and forth stuff. Like, they sit at job sites for long periods of time. So that's per the course itself. Now you'll see down here, I can point out right there, it's gonna focus on my finger. From there, there's actually a bar. We'll go to the other trailer, and there's another bar right there. There's a bar there. It brings down, it's got lights and everything on that, snapped off because when I was, you know, dumping some gravel and everything, it just digs into the existing earth and it broke the welds. That I'm not gonna blame Sure Trac on that. That's the going rate for having a dump trailer on a job site. You're dumping material and earth and rock and stone. I'm not going to blame that on them. That's just not really a user error. That's just, I guess I would say, just maintenance. That's what happens when you're actually working these trailers as they're expected. You're going to be dragging it a little bit, and it's what happens. I'm not going to blame anybody for that one, but we're going to have to weld that thing up, and yeah, that's it. But other than that, this trailer has been phenomenal. No problems whatsoever. Of course, I've replaced the battery in it for the hydraulic pump. The hoist is fantastic. Definitely get yourself some double broach fenders. You can stand on these, and it's absolutely 150% worth it, in my opinion. So buying dump trailers, a couple things you're gonna want. Now when I was buying these, I knew about the 7-gauge steel floor and everything, but these were just in stock at the time, and I needed dump trailers right then and there. And I got a great deal on this one as well, but these will eventually rust out. You guys can see the powder coating starting to come off a little bit. So these will eventually rust out, and I'll have it cut out and then replaced with a 7-gauge steel floor again. And then of course repainted, of course. It just helps out. And you know, this get beat up all the time. I don't throw concrete. I don't use this for concrete. As you can see, if I use it for concrete, this floor would already be damaged, and you see the joists and everything like that. Absolutely, D-rings are fantastic. Have them mounted on the walls. Don't have them mounted on the floor. having them mount on the walls, less debris gets stuck on it, and still some debris does get stuck on it, and you have to come back here and, you know, kick it out and everything like that. But have them mounted on the walls if the structure, it actually allows for it, because you just don't want your debris getting stuck on the floor trying to dump it, and it's fantastic. Of course, we have the tarp, because everything has to have a tarp per, DOT regulations, and I got the extra 12-inch board on the side here, gives you a little extra sidewall. But this is just a working trailer. Absolutely, if you can spring for the 7-gauge floor, it's going to be worth it as well. A couple of upgrades as well, besides the double broach fenders, having extra lighting is fantastic. Of course, state pockets, and then these are obviously 17.5-inch wheels with the extra rubber, 16-ply rubber. I do have one step there, but I know Diamond C and a couple other, I think Lamar, they make like a complete platform where you can step across all the way. That is, for me, that'd be a must. I'm going to eventually install those and have them welded in straight across, because I definitely want to be able to step right here and then get up into the nose of the trailer as well. I can still do it. I basically just step right here, and then I use the top of the jack right here, and then I hop in. It's no big deal. It is, but it'd be super nice just to be able to step right there and then hop over and adjust the tarp, do whatever I need to, because as the operator, you want to make sure everything's tied down correctly. You don't have anything flying out, because it's super embarrassing and dangerous as well, having things crap out on you like that. Another thing, you're going to want spare tires. Spare tires are necessary. Absolutely. That one's actually brand new, but I have some, you're going to be going through some, flat tires. Let's go over here to the other one. You can see this one I had recently, yesterday, had a, 2 flat tires on it. And you guys can see, here's a spare. It's obviously all fixed up, ready to go, but they marked it. And then on this other side over here, it's always like the driver's side rear tires for some reason. This one over here was flat too. They actually marked it, but we got them back on. We're good to go, rocking and rolling. You're gonna want spare tires. It's just, don't leave them on the job site with the customer, because sometimes they end up growing legs and rolling and walking away. But have it in your truck in case you have a flat or anything like that. Plus, have some magnet that you can walk around the truck and trailer to collect any debris before you roll over it and cause yourself some, unwelcomed cost of owning a business like this. So that's basically the only other upgrades that I would do to this trailer are those. They're fantastic little money-making machines. All right, guys, in conclusion, that is what I like and dislike about my Sure Trac dump trailers. They are fantastic. They are good income-producing assets, and just they leave me with so much, convenience and joy on a job site, being able just to throw whatever I want to away at any point in time and being able to move on. Yes, they cost money. Yes, they break down every once in a while, but every dump trailer manufacturer, you're going to have their goods and bads. I'd say stay away from the very, very cheap ones, because you pay for what you get, but also don't overpay. This trailer, I think, cost me brand new like $15K. The other one cost me that one cost me $12K brand new. So yeah, they are investments and they do cost money. But a couple of modifications that I put a solar panel up there. It actually snapped off because one of my guys threw something on there. So yeah, I did put the solar panel actually on the trailer itself, permanently mounted. And I'm just throwing this in because it's been a while since I've actually recorded what you guys are just watching here too. But let's go over real quick. This is as simple as it gets for a solar panel system on any kind of trailer. It's absolutely the simplest thing. Anybody can DIY this. All right, so we have a basic 12-volt panel, and you've got your positive and negative coming straight off the panel here, wired into a charge controller. I've been using since after I built my last trailer, I switched over to Victron. So the new trailer is going to have all Victron. I'll throw a picture of what we have already for it. But this is the charge controller. You're going to want to get it to match the voltage that you're putting in from your solar panel. It's a 12-volt solar panel, so we have a 12-volt charge controller. It actually says 12 through 48 volt. And of course, you have 2 going in, and then you got 2 going out. Hot and negative, positive and negative, going straight to your battery. You're going to have some sort of battery bank to store power, or you can go straight into whatever 12-volt lighting you want. So if I went from these 2 lines, these positive and negative, straight to a light source that's 12 volt, can absolutely do that power that light switch. But since we don't have a battery for energy storage, once that solar panel stops producing electricity, then we have no more lights. That's why a battery bank is awesome. Recommend. This is just for this dump trailer and everything. It's a lead. I think this is actually lead acid. It might be absorbed glass mat, but it's a lead acid battery. Lithium ion are obviously better, but they don't have very good capability in cold weather if they're not kept up to a certain temperature. So that's why we have a lead acid battery in here. So this out, and this actually has an app, and I'll throw it real quick, see you exactly what we're putting in. I think we're actually probably already fully charged, so it's probably not even going to be putting any juice inside the actual battery, but I'll throw it in here, and that's basically it, guys. That's as easy as it gets. But fantastic ways to, you know, increase your profit margins on a business, and also create a different way of having revenue for yourself and being business for yourself as well. So like and subscribe, you guys. We'll see you on the next video.